They bang my Taylor on the desk. Jesus.
Okay. Hey, we're back. So we just did a stream for about like 10 minutes and then everything just got completely screwed up. So we're
It
going to start
did.
again. As it's written on the title, we're talking about Gibson problems and NAMM predictions. So I thought let's continue talking about like Gibson. So
I
before
think
we're
that
talking about like the problems they're having with the play authentic ad they did, which started out as an advertisement for Gibson and then gradually just turned into a legal threat against other companies and guitar players.
Taylor might be in trouble because look, they have a headstock that
Yeah,
has six.
exactly.
Oh no! And look, it's got a bond. Oh my God! Hey, I have an acoustic Gibson. I should play
Exactly.
authentic.
That's a guitar sound. Gibson might have trademarked that.
You know what? I think because we talked about Gibson, they probably that's the reason the stream went down. The
Exactly.
overlord, the overlords are coming after us. That's what they're mad about. That Tonewood amp. It's an amp. Gibson made an amp. They made everything. So that's why getting we're getting
Maybe that's
punted
it.
down.
No,
But
but
like banging Taylor 914 on a desk for a joke. Well,
did you hear though? Like in the EU, apparently they tried to sue somebody about the flying V guitar shape, and it was thrown out, and they lost the case.
of
So
course,
apparently in the EU, they can't trademark the like flying V shape anymore because they said that yeah, it's not like particularly unique, and they said if you would have tried to trademark or would have tried to like take people to court a long time ago, it would have been okay. But it's like yeah, this design has been around since 1958, and you haven't
yeah.
done anything for like 40 or 50 years.
It's
So like
it's it's. I don't know what they're thinking, honestly, because like you really can't trademark a body shape. If you want to be realistic about how you think it would go, okay, can you trademark a violin shape?
yeah,
No.
of course not.
Can you trademark? It's the functionality of it. It's like, can they trademark a trumpet shape? You can trademark your logo, the headstock, yeah, but then it's also functionality. And they're not the first people to have an open book headstock. That's not like
Yeah,
the
that's
most.
like somebody else just said. They said like, here, look at this instrument from like the 1800s, where it has like the open book shape on the top. So it's like you can't even trademark that. And they're trying to sue like Dean because of that. And I was like, Dean doesn't even have an open book shaped headstock.
No.
So what are you talking about? And
Like
even though they technically have a trademark for that, I was like, your trademark's going to get thrown out.
they tried the same thing with PRS. Now Dean doesn't have PRS money, but Paul Reed Smith took him to court and laughed at him. They just took the three-way selector switcher that was up here. They put it
Mm-hmm.
down here by the volume knobs, and that's all they did. And
Yeah.
then now the funny thing is, after they won a lawsuit, they put it right back on their single cut models. And the funny thing is, now those ones with the single cut switch over here are super valuable because that's like the 4 years they didn't have it where it should be. And I was like,
Oh, really?
so once again, it's so stupid. It's like, why don't you guys? They used to be innovative. They're not innovative anymore. They're just.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, who's their like you said? Who's their signature artist now? Slash. No, he doesn't have. There's no signature. He doesn't have it anymore. No one has it. There's nothing.
Yeah, I'm
Um.
trying to think. Yeah, because I remember for a while they had like Zach Wild, but he left now, right? He's doing like
Yeah.
East
No,
Coast.
he's long, long gone.
Yeah.
Because when he would get his signature Les Pauls, he'd have to take it, rip all the frets out, put stainless steel frets or uh jumbo frets in his own guitars, change the pickups out, and then they still he had to change the nut too because they'd never stay in tune. Shocker. The D and the G on the Gibsons, they still don't stay in tune. So what's the point? Like I never thought I'd say this. Epiphone makes a better product than Gibson because they have a 10-degree neck like everybody else has versus 17 degrees, and they actually stay in tune. They have a compensated nut to a point. It's like, but compared to
Yeah.
Gibson, it's at the same time the market's changed. It used to be Gibson, Fender. Now
Yeah.
we've got so many options. Like
Exactly. I don't know why. Like, I think for collectors, it's good. Like, there's some people that just want that like classic feel and everything, and I can kind of understand that if you've been playing like Gibson for 30 years or something like that. But at the same time, it's like you have to make good guitars. Those collectors will probably pay lots of money, but they're not going to pay lots of money for crap that you make.
yeah, I'll definitely give you guys an update after this week at NAMM when I see the Gibson booth to see what they have. I'm not expecting much. I think it'll just be their standard line. Here's an SG. Here's a Les Paul. I love the fact that they advertise we're finally using full wood Les Pauls again. Oh wow, thanks.
What were they
Most
using before?
they called them weight relief. So people were actually taking like the top of the line Les Paul standards that cost like $4,000, and they're ripping the tops off, and they're mostly hollow. It was pretty much a
What?
hollow. Yeah, it was pretty much a hollow body. There was hardly any wood in it, and they said it was weight relieved. And then they'd have really cheap electronics. They had those horrible robot tuners that nobody wanted, and they kept
Yeah,
pushing it. And it's just like I look at a company like Ernie Ball. Ernie Ball just actually discontinued their Les Paul copy, probably because they're scared of our lawsuit too. The Armada, which was basically their take on a Les Paul, or just the fact that it's the same thing as it's a neck through, but it's the same thing
yeah,
as a Majesty, and the Majesty sells way better. So like they try different things. Kiesel tries different things. Ibanez tries different things within reason, but then well, except for last year, Ibanez tried everything. They
yeah,
they made like 65 new guitars. It was, and they all had their own signal, and it was like so stupid. It was okay. Here's a Strat copy with all single coils. Here's a Strat copy with the humbucker single coil. Here's a Strat copy with fatter single coils with the reverse headstock, and they all had their own serial number. And you're like, here's a roasted maple neck. Here's a non-roasted maple. It was like that's too many variations. Make one
yeah,
guitar, and then just it was hilarious. And then but they still try stuff. Schecter will try stuff differently. Like everyone tries stuff, but like it's funny because the companies that were huge in the '90s now are pretty much all non-existent. Like Washburn, where are they at?
yeah. I haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah, they just kind of just vanished. I mean, they're still around. I looked at their stuff. ESP is not as popular as it used to be because LTD is an American brand and it's better, it's cheaper and local, and they make the same stuff.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, the Gibson video, like I don't know what he's thinking. Like you're not gonna win people over. You're not gonna. You had your
yeah,
whole dentist and doctor branding thing, and it's like we don't care. And then you're not making guitars for guitar players. And we've all said, can we have just simple? Can we have a 22 fret or 24 fret? No. Can we have 7 string? Nope. Well, this is what we want. And every other company's like, we'll make it.
yeah.
It's
I just don't understand what they're thinking or what they're doing. Why not just like even if you think like okay, we want to keep Gibson as like the traditional brand where we should make like Les Pauls and ES335s, make a second brand and just make different guitars and just make like more modern guitars. That's easy to do.
they actually supposedly have, I guess in the 2019 now they have the modern Gibson, which is like hotter output pickups and then little different things. But it's yeah, it's like
But who
okay,
cares really? Like you could
yeah,
put your own hotter pickups in there.
and they're still really expensive for the same problems you're gonna have. They're still gonna have that tuning issue and the horrible 23-degree angle like this that nobody needs. When we all go, hey, straight string through works great, and they're like, no, this is how it has to be. It's so it's so dumb. It's like the funny thing is, there's a T-shirt I saw that said, "Not if your Gibson headstock breaks, it's when." Like, like it's just gonna snap off. And it's like
Yeah,
that's bad design. Like that's like saying like I was driving this car and the door just fell off. It's just gonna happen. So no, that's
yeah,
not a good. No. I don't care about Gibson anymore. I would go with any other brand. I purposely like push students to any other brand. Like
yeah.
even Fender upgraded their Mexican Strats, the Player series now. Those are
Uh,
way better than they used to be. They
honestly,
even got their stuff together, but it's like no, but the Gibson just keeps chunking along. Like check this out.
yeah, I just don't understand their strategy. Like, you'd think that after last year, when like they had tons of bad publicity, they went bankrupt. Why would they try to repeat it? It's like at this time, what they should really do is just like not say anything, get a small booth at NAMM, and just try to like increase the quality of their products year by year until they're good, and then maybe 3 or 4 years from now, then start trying to do new stuff and start like talking again. Like your reputation is so bad, like just don't say anything. Be
Yeah.
quiet for a few years.
Let me see what Gibson all has. I'm looking at the summer name directory real quick here. I'm gonna see what they actually have in their
Oh yeah, I
booth.
should also mention that they're suing Dean about everything basically, but Dean now is countersuing them, and they're countersuing them to remove the trademarks. So they're trying to remove the trademark for the Les Paul body, the Explorer body, the Flying V body, and I think something else, maybe the headstock. But I have a feeling they might win, and then Gibson's going to lose all their trademarks, and then they're not even going to be able to threaten to sue people anymore. So
Oh
then I
my.
don't know how they're going to make money.
Yeah, let me see. It's the website's loading up here real quick here. It says, yeah, the Gibson booth is by far. I don't know how well this is gonna work. Let me try something real quick here. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
try
turn the
screenshot.
webcam around real fast. Can you see that?
No, I see a bunch of white.
All right, never mind.
Okay,
Right, we try one other little. See if this will. I doubt this will work, but we're gonna try this anyway. Um, let's see if we can get this to work here.
okay. It
So
won't go.
I'm basically just seeing what Gibson has in there. Okay, so here's what Gibson has. Okay, so Gibson Brands has their own the webcam back. Gibson Brands has their own booth, whatever that means, and they have Gibson, Serwin Vega, whatever that is, Epiphone, Gibson, KRK, and Stanton all in one booth.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think Serwin Vega they like make speakers and things. I think like
Let's see
usually like,
how well this is gonna.
audio
I think this
speakers.
might work. See if I get the light. There it is. Okay, so for those that don't know how the NAMM thing works, that's Gibson. That's humongous.
Yeah, that is really big.
That's Fender. This is the entire NAMM floor. If you want to know where Kiesel's at, Kiesel is it's kind of hard to see. Kiesel is right there, and they're gonna have like 50 guitars. Fender's just showing off, but you can see Gibson has just a monumental. It was working better. It was working. Focus. There we go. Kiesel's huge. I mean, Gibson is monstrous right there. That's way too big.
Yeah, that's
But
big for no reason. I don't know what they're going to show. I guess they can show off those new like KRK monitors and things, but like other stuff, I'm like, I don't know. You're just gonna have a bunch of like Les Pauls, SGs, and then maybe like other classics, and then maybe like one stupid guitar that everyone's gonna make fun of again.
yeah, I don't honestly have any idea what what they're gonna do. But if they do have a Gibson branding hat, I'll get you one and send it to you in
Okay, yeah,
Japan.
I'd like that.
But just it'll probably cost me $65 to send it to Japan or more.
Yeah,
Take a month to get the. It's yeah, I don't know what they're doing. They're branding. It's like they're trying to get their reputation back, but they're just crapping on people along the way. That's not gonna help.
yeah.
And
It seems
as
like they're
you
making
said,
it worse.
yeah, as you
I don't-
said, you can't sue your way back out of bankruptcy. It's
Yeah,
not.
exactly. I was like, you can't do that. It's like just make good products.
That's all you have to do. If they made like a really high quality, or just listen to the market, like we've all been saying for years, we don't want this, fix this, and they're just like, nope. So I don't know. But since another thing that'll be there, since I'll be there, is all the pedals you mentioned. You were discussing about. I
Yeah,
will try them out while we're there. We'll find out. So the synth pedal you mentioned with Boss.
yeah.
Uh,
It's with SY1, I believe.
yeah, it was interesting because I'm thinking, how many other people have made polyphonic synth pedals? And quite a few.
Oh
Theirs
yeah,
sounded good too. Like yeah, like the Electro Harmonics.
I've heard of the electro harmonics. Yeah, that one's pretty
The
cool.
first one they made was the B9, which is organs, which sounded
Yeah,
good.
I like
Good.
that one actually. And the also the electric piano one with like the I forgot like
That
E something. It's
Key
something.
9.
Yeah,
So
that was
there's
really
the
cool. I thought those both sounded good.
B9 was the one that emulated sounds. C9 they said screw that. Here's the exact sounds from the albums. It sold way better. Uh, Key 9 is piano. Sounds okay. And then Synth 9 is the one everyone's buying. It's like, and they didn't even try and hide it. They're like, this is the Moog sound from Tom Sawyer. Here's the Moog sound from one of them is just called Deep Purple Dirty. It's just the organ sound. I mean, they're not even trying to hide it. They're being bluntly honest, which is great because it works great. So I'm curious to see how Boss is going to enter the market because I think TC Electronics has one, Keeley has one, and then there's
Oh,
all kinds of boutique pedal makers there. That's the cool thing about Summer NAMM. You see all these different pedals from companies that just think way out of the box. Like I found this delay pedal called the Total Eclipse, and it had like 6 different knobs on it and a bunch of different switches. And I asked like, "What is this thing?" He said, "It's 2 analog delays in stereo, and you can set them at different." I'm like, "Oh." So it
that's
was like
cool.
like think 2 carbon copies, but you have a longer because analog only has so much range it can hit before it stops. But digital can go beyond like a certain time limit.
Yeah.
This way, you have double. You can stagger them and double them, but you can also reverse them. So have the longer one go first, or the short. And you can change individual sounds and ducks. And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of crazy." And then they
Yeah.
had this other company that had a pedal called Defender, like the old video game, that had 2 half circles, and each one of the half circles had like chorus, modulation, phaser. And over here was compression, clean boost, and then something with gain. And then you would pick individual how you wanted 2 at a time to go on, and you could
That's
make 2 little presets in there, so you could tap it real quick and you can choose between random sounds.
That's actually good because I'd actually use that for like a gig or something. Because there's sometimes when you want like a clean sound and you want like compressor and like a chorus, and then maybe something else for like the solo. So they
Yeah,
got
it
a
was
and like flanger or something. Well,
it was
that's
pretty. That one was pretty neat because you could also reverse the order of them too, real quick. So I don't know why you'd want to have a compressor be last, but you could. You could compress the delay, like a delay compression, or you could have compression delay, or you could have chorus and then modulate, a chorus and boost after that, or and you could like it's really weird functionality. Um,
kind of cool.
yeah, some of the pedals you'll see there are pretty awesome, and some of them, like I saw this one guy, he was super nice, but he had an ankle bracelet that looked like you're a prisoner, and he had this mat on the ground. It's like this is a picture. This is a rectangle right here, and
Okay.
there's 6 different squares, different colors, like red, yellow, blue, pink, green, and purple.
Yeah.
Well, the thing he puts on his foot, which is like an ankle bracelet, you wave it over a section, and it looks at the color, and then MIDI switches whatever you want it to do. So you can yeah,
That is
and he was like, no, so you take your axe effects, you can like wave your foot. Now I'm playing like at the funk sound with the chorus, and I go over here and I have the delay. And I was like, how about I just press a button and
yeah. I
not wear
really
the
should
ankle
stomp on
brace?
it if I have to use my foot.
It was well, he was like, you can also swirl it around, and it was working pretty well. He was moving his foot around this mat, and it was going, ew, it was changing effects like instantly. At the same time, I was like, you look like an asshole. Like,
If I'm hopping on one foot trying to do something, that would be better if it was like a hand thing. But like I'm trying to think like on stage, there's no like table or something in front of me. Like if you're doing like you do like those theater gigs, like if you have like a theater gig where you have like a music stand in front of you and you just like move your hand to a different place to change it, it would be cool. But like I can't think of like a live thing where I'd be doing like rock music or even like pop music where I could even use that.
yeah, it's as I said, there's a lot of people trying different ideas. Let's just say that some of them are neat. Like this one guy had from Detroit had these giant LED straps that would actually blink and glow to the music. You could hook up to the bass drum and have certain things going. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I was like, how
Oh,
much are they? He's like $495. I'm
Jesus
like,
Christ.
yeah,
No, no, no,
here's,
no.
here's a $30 strap that works just great. And he's like, well, this one you can have people. I'm like, yeah, but it's facing back. Like
Yeah,
if I
like
don't,
most people can't see that unless I turn around.
so unless you want to stroke the drummer out. Uh, nice idea. Or the worst thing I saw was these guys are great, but they just were completely out of their element. They had wooden guitar straps, um,
Oh,
and they were like this thick, like on your shoulder, like from here, like that's like 3.5, 4 inches of wooden, like different. And it was like, and he goes, it won't pinch that bad. He said it won't pinch that bad. I don't like. It was not very good. And I knew they were nice, but they were kind of out of their element. They had a giant TV hooked up with video games to play, like Mario Brothers and Ninja Gaiden. And I was like, why is this at Summer NAMM? He's like, well, we're bored. We think we play games. And then the guy was like, hey, if you beat Ninja Gaiden level 1 in under 10 minutes, we'll give you a discount on the strap. I was like, how about I beat it in under 4 and you give me a strap? He's like, you can't do that. Literally wrecked the game, speed run it, got there in like a minute 12. I was like, where's my free strap? He's like, we'll have to mail it to you.
yeah.
Never got it.
Yeah, well, I figured, yeah.
Yeah, they also had a guy selling the clip-on tuners, but with superhero characters on them illegally. So he had like Batman, and yeah, he didn't have any licensing rights at all. So it just said B Man
Oh,
and See America, and instead of the Hulk, it was Green H. It was,
oh,
and the thing was, I bought one as a joke, like the Batman one, because I thought like when you turn it on, you see little Batman eyes, and then it turns to the tuner. It doesn't work. He got
oh,
me for $8. The thing was a piece of crap. I was like, thanks, buddy. Um, yeah, no, it. Then also, what else have we seen? There was I told you about the one guy who had custom. He's actually from here, where I'm from. He has custom built guitars. That he's trying to get off the ground, but he wouldn't let anyone play them.
what?
So, yeah. So right across over here is Kiesel. They've got 4,000, 6,000 crazy guitars. They're like, pick them all up, go crazy, do what you want with them. Over here, all these other companies play this, play that. People are playing everything. And you're like, hey, can I try these? No, I'll play them for you. They're too valuable. And I was like, so he had a Strat basically that had tele pickups, which or tele pickup design, so just a straight route, which is the
Yeah,
easiest thing to do. And he had four $500 bare knuckle pickups in it. And instead of buying things from like a dealer, like he should, like the the dealer cost,
yeah.
he was buying everything at cost and then assembling it, and then he was raising the price 30% on top. So he just had literally it was just a Les Paul copy with a Strat body. And he was like, "That's $5,000." And then he eventually ended up selling it for 600 just to get rid of it because
That makes sense.
the
How
neck
do you
was
go about
misaligned.
how do
So
you,
yeah,
how do you
no,
sell a
good. Sorry.
guitar if nobody can actually play it? What are you thinking? but I don't
Yeah.
know.
Taylor though will be there. They'll take up an entire second floor. Taylor takes up the entire upper floor themselves, which is pretty neat.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
and they have like a bunch of the new models. They showed the V class last year, and they showed their new Academy series, which is where they have. It used to be the mini series. Well, they still have the minis, but this is like for $500 to $600, you get into Taylor, and you get to try out. I mean, the neck will feel the same, but it's like cheaper woods. It's decent for what it is. But it's for kids to try out with, and then they can actually, if you stay with this, I don't know if they still do it, but there was if you had the Taylor one and you want to trade it in, you could then go to a real Taylor for a significant discount.
that's
Um,
actually really good. That's a good
yeah.
idea.
They're kind of like indoctrinating and like coming to Taylor.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely check out some. I know there's other synth pedals there. I'll find Boss will be there, so I'll definitely check out that pedal, the Roland synth, which I'm curious about because Boss is at least trying to make different stuff. Like I will say this though, when I saw their booth and they had the Katana there 2 years ago for the first time, that thing shocked everybody. But
Yeah,
they had
everybody's been saying like that sounds really good. They're like, yeah, this is like a great not only like practice amp, but they said like you can actually like also gig with it. It just sounds really good. It's just a really nice amp. So I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. Well, the one I saw was the desktop one with the tape,
Mhm.
and we were playing it. And we were laughing because we all put the headphones. There's no amps there. You have to put headphones on, and they have nothing but high end guitars everywhere. So I grabbed this guitar and I plug in this really like the size of my keyboard. It's like about the size of this, not that big, and I plug it in and I start seeing how it sounds, and it sounds killer. I'm like, whoa, what is this? And I thought it was $100. I'm like, no way, no, it's $400 for that
Yeah.
because it's the top of the amp. And then they had last year they had the wireless ones. They come now with a $500 version. It has a Bluetooth thing. You just plug in and you're up to 30 feet, and
Yeah.
it works. Also, the artist series is the one you want to get if you're going to actually gig with it or play out. You want to get the artist combo. It's got a better speaker. It's 12 inches. It's like $500, and the thing that also sold me out, like you get 5 great sounds, like
Hmm.
they all sound great, and then you get every single Boss effect though. You can actually go into a computer and choose any effect and combination you want.
I didn't know that. That's actually really cool. That's a really good selling point for that. So
Yeah, that's the one that makes everyone really happy is because they can like you can try out actually the actual pedals that you've never tried before and see what the Boss. So like obviously some pedals are better than others. Like the Boss Chorus CE2 is standard, or the Boss OD1 that that little orange thing that everybody is supposed to try. But you can also try off the bad ones. You can put 3 metal zones back to back if you really want to ruin your tone.
oh
Uh,
gee.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can do it. And go
I,
crazy.
it was crazy. I didn't understand. You know that they're doing like the new Wazacraft where they're like the high end boss pedals, right?
Yeah.
Why did they decide to choose a metal zone?
I don't have any idea. Like I think there's just someone there's like I can make this work. I can find a way to make this pedal sound good because at some point everyone bought them and then we sell them and a new generation comes in and they buy them and they sell them. And it's like this wave of metal zones and now the fact that there's so many other companies that have better everything from music to or like true bypass, better battery life, better components, better input output, stereo, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, the Boss pedals sound stale. They're boring. Like I mean, I still use my JHS Andy Timmons pedal relentlessly, almost weekly,
Oh.
all the time because it's my go-to distortion sound live now. I can sound enough like everything, so I don't need anything else. I hate to say it, but it makes every amp sound good. So I'm like, it's kind of like I'm not a Marshall guy, but it's like a Marshall in a box. And then I
Yeah.
use my Keeley Red Dirt, which completely wrong. It's basically a TS9 tube screamer and then a super tube screamer boost up in one pedal. But I use it as a volume boost for the JS the AT.
That works. That's cool though.
Yeah, well, I mean, you heard me on the Petrucci video. That's what I was playing through. Actually, the first year was going through awful Supro amps. Those horrible Supro amps.
Oh.
Uh, I was playing through those god awful things that sounded great. And then last year I was going through a Boss Katana through the clean channel. They had these Line 6 helixes set up. No, nobody wanted to touch them.
Oh
They're like,
man.
hey, yeah, oh no, no. We're like, what is this? Where's the amps? Like Line 6 Helix. We're like, no, like nobody wanted it. And the guy there, I felt so bad. We're like, no, it's good sounds, guys. Like, no. But also because of the weird thing was is with the Roland and Boss, they said if you're going to use our Boss Katana amps, we want to have our Roland drum set there. So all the real drums vanished, and instead we have these crappy digital drums. And I was like, no sound, no anything. It was like if you're less than 5 feet away from the band, you couldn't hear anything. Like,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
not
that's not
good.
the best.
No, but well, whatever. At least they got the katana that was really good. I'll definitely check out that Boss synth. It seems interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
that's like one of those things. Like they had one before. It was like what the SY like 300 or something. It was like similar, had similar sounds, except it was like really big. So I was like, it sounds
yeah,
cool. But like it's just too big. Now it's like in a small box, so I was like, that'd be cool. It's not something I could use all the time, but like for some songs, it would be cool, especially to mix with like the real guitar sound with the synth sound. I was like, that could actually be cool.
Yeah, the from what I've seen, the bigger version is more powerful, obviously, and you can do way more with it in terms of like how to blend between them. You can do glissando slides like you would with a Moog or some kind of analog synth. At the same time, it's like just go play the keyboard. I mean, nobody like it's. I have an Axe effect. My Axe effects can do almost all those sounds already,
Mm.
and I actually have a patch that says Tom Sawyer intro. When I hit
Oh,
it, it just goes. It's the exact same sound, and everyone's like, "Oh, neat! How'd you get that?" And I'm like, "Eh, I can use it like once or twice, and it sounds neat." But then beyond that, I have to change patches. This is
yeah.
big, and it took forever. Or you can do one thing. I will say that I use some synth for is this camera's driving me nuts. In the back of it, I can do this with the Axe effects. I can set up a synth patch, and I'll have like a chord. And as I change the different scenes, I can have 8 different scenes in it. Each
Mhm.
scene will be a different chord. So I have just a constant chord playing with synth sounds, and then underneath it, I have my guitar output. So basically, I have two outputs going out, and then I can basically, as I change the scenes, the synth will keep going by itself as a background, like a Pink Floyd kind of thing.
That's
So I
kind
can
of cool. You can like solo over that, so that's actually really
yeah,
cool.
which I do a lot. And people go, "Well, how'd you get all this changing?" And I'm just like, I'm just pressing a button, changing it real quick. Or if you're super lazy, you can MIDI CC it and then just play and have that. As long as you keep the tempo, it'll just
That's
play with you.
cool, actually. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that pedal I will definitely check out on there. It does seem like it's a little more, according to the videos I saw, a little more user friendly than some of the other ones. Like it's designed to
Yeah.
track better.
I hope
Um,
so. I hope it like tracks really well because like I haven't tried it out, but like I thought, oh, that's cool.
Well,
Uh,
the demo video with McLaughlin, I like he's a good player, but I can't stand his editing. It drives me up a freaking wall because he's playing and then it's just like jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut. Look, 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 look. It's like, oh my god, just stop it. It's like amateur video editing 101. It's like just because you film in a giant HD, you don't need to zip around the neck. Just show me the guitar, play your
exactly.
part. Let's move on. I don't need to see all that nonsense.
Yeah, it's like a like Born Identity movie or something. I was like, it's not an action scene.
I still don't know what happens in the second movie. I don't, they go into that tunnel and there's like 96 cuts within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the credits roll. I don't know. I just kind of zoned out. Like I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know either. So, oh, what do you think? Do you think Ibanez is going to come out with another Tube Screamer for Summer Nam?
Probably not for Summer Nam. They'll have but for Winter Nam definitely. They they have pumping those suckers out like no one's business. But another thing that's funny is they teamed up with JHS pedals. And
Yeah.
JHS made a pedal called the Bonsai Tree. It's every tube screamer in one pedal in
Yeah.
every modification. So and
Yeah.
it actually is like you go to the first one, it's TS9, and it's TS808, and it's TOS08 plus, and it's TS09 plus, and it's two of them stacked together, and then it's every and then they actually license from Keeley too. Keeley gave them their mods to put in that pedal as well, so you can have the Keeley mod and you can have the JHS TS9 mod. You can have it's like 9 different over. It's too much, but you can if you really want to check them all out and hear all the different sounds. It's not that big a deal. Like one's got like 5 decibel mid boost. That one has low cut. You're like, well, that's it. Like, like
That's different. Yeah. I guess
yeah.
people are buying them though, so I
The
guess
Angry Charlie too was also the Angry Driver. That one sold a lot. So the Angry Charlie was JHS's It's basically a JCM Marshall 800. That's what it is. The Marshall JCM 800, and then they have the Blues Driver, which everyone likes. And a lot of people were playing them both side by side. So they just said, "Hey, boss, let's just get together and combine them." So
yeah.
they made like the Angry Driver, which is a Blues Driver and the Angry Charlie combined. And but they had these weird combinations where like, do you want just the Blues Driver? How about the Angry Charlie? How about them together? How about them reversed? And it's like, and then what order do you want them in? And all these different combinations. And I was like, that okay, cool. I mean, I played it at the Boss booth and it sounded pretty much good on all of them, but I was like, I already have the ATI. I'm good. He's like, yeah, but if you get this one, you can have more. And I was like, I don't know, dude. I'm not changing
Exactly.
90 at one point, I said to him as a guitar player, I was like, "Listen, I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to sell me all the different sounds, but at some point, I just gotta play." Like,
Yeah. I don't have time for all this.
yeah, setting up 90 different sounds, and it's like, "Did you play a song yet?" No, but when I eventually get to play a
It's gonna
song in a
sound
year from now, it's gonna sound awesome for 5 seconds.
yeah.
What was the other pedal you were talking about?
the let me see. I was talking about a bunch of stuff. So apparently, Focusrite's coming out with new line of interfaces. You use a Focusrite interface, right?
I do. I have the Scarlett 18i8, the first gen. So I
Yeah,
have seen some of the issues with it now as the years have gone by that people talked about. It's a great unit. I love Focusrite. There are some latency, some when you play with it, but I
yeah,
don't. I have an Axe effect, so I'm not using plugins a whole lot. On top of that, it sounds good. It is really hard to get crystal clean guitar things because the preamps just can't handle it. They fixed all that in Gen 2. But the rest of it is really good.
yeah. That's what I heard. I have the same thing. I have a 2i4, but it's Gen 1, and I heard that like, they fixed some of the problems in Gen 2. And I was thinking like I want to get a new computer because I need one because obviously just now my sound went out when we were doing this live stream, so it's like I have to get a new computer. But I was thinking like I should get a new audio interface, and I was thinking about trying another brand because I was like I don't want to get the same thing that I already got, even though I like this. But I was like, okay, version 3, I might check that out. I might get something similar, like another Focusrite, and
Yeah,
see how it goes.
they've changed a lot in version 3. Better preamps, better conversion, better everything. And Thunderport as well. So if you want to use Thunderport, you can.
Yeah,
Um, it's everything looks way better. Super low latency or no latency now, which what
yeah,
they've been saying. And you can also get crystal clean, quiet, everything. Another one that I can know of is probably the Universal Audio, the Apollo ones.
yeah.
Um,
I've heard those are good, but they're
really
expensive.
good. They're really expensive though. They are. Um,
Yeah, people told me that the new IK multimedia, those like Axe IO or something, people said those are actually really good for tracking guitars.
Huh. I haven't tried those.
Yeah,
Um,
Satriani, like they always like the ad for like the demo, but people said like if you're just doing guitars, they sound really good for guitars. I think they have some like stage, like a clipping stage, before it actually goes into the preamp, which is better for guitars. So it won't like clip as easily for guitars, and it's just like
hmm,
tuned for guitars. So it's like
huh.
that actually sounds good, but it's a little bit expensive, at least compared to the Focus. Right? It's not that expensive. I think it's around like $500, but
Yeah. Well, the Apollo one does cost more, but the reason why, like, if you get just the base one with the two inputs, two outputs, a lot of people get turned off by that because they're thinking, well, that's not a whole lot of inputs and outputs. I want to hook up my keyboard, my bass, and do all that. Like,
yeah.
you can get a bigger rack user for that. It has the Neve preamps in there.
Those are nice.
And that's why it's the same ones they use in the multi-million-dollar board. So
Mm,
that's when you hear it, it's significantly
yeah,
cleaner and better. It's nothing wrong with the Focusrite. I can still do great stuff with it. It just depends what you want to do. You do pop music, I'd probably say get that one.
yeah,
If you want crystal clean stuff, but also like at that point you're gonna be in a studio anyway. You wouldn't be at your house like
yeah.
talking
That's
in the
true.
but I
People have
honestly
mentioned that lots of people have stopped going to studios. Lots of those big studios I've heard are like shutting down, and people are just doing stuff in their house.
they are because you can pretty much get the same sound at home if you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Trevor Larkin, our friend from college, his first
yeah.
album was recorded in a kitchen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it sounds as professional as anything I've ever heard. It
Yeah,
actually sounds better than the most recent Alan Stone, where they spent like tens of thousands of dollars in a studio. And I went, why does that one sound better? He's like, my engineer is better. He knows what he's doing. I'm like, he audio treated his kitchen and put the drums over here, and I recorded in a room, and it's the same plugins everyone else is using. So it's like, what? Like,
wow. Yeah,
yeah,
I was on the Mesa Boogie website the other day. He's endorsed by Mesa Boogie.
he is. He told me that years ago, and I was jealous because he
Yeah.
told me they sent him their entire catalog and was like, hey. So he said they approached him like 4 years ago. Might be a little off on that, might be three, but a couple years ago and said, hey, we're thinking about working with you because he was using at the time a Lone Star because his Fender Twin Reverbs kept breaking down.
Uh,
So he got a Fender. He has to take care of his own stuff on stage, like it's all him. So
oh,
and
jeez.
the way that band works is he told me it literally is you guys can all play whatever you want, just don't step on anybody else's toes.
That's kind of
So
cool. Like that kind of freedom to kind of do what you want and like kind of play what you want and arrange it yourself. That's cool.
yeah, and so he's got two keyboard players that are monster players as well that are tearing up stuff constantly. And with a bass player that's really good, and then Alan Stone plays guitar. The Trevor's back there kind of doing his own thing as well. But he said that he was using the Lone Star and he really liked it, but it was super heavy. And then they kind of were like, "Well, you're kind of getting big with Alan Stone. We'd like to endorse you." And went, oh, okay, cool. And then like nothing happened. And then a year later, like, "Hey, you still want an endorsement?" He's like, "Sure." And then they just started sending him stuff. So I'm pretty sure I'm not sure if they asked him. I think he's got like their entire catalog. Like, he's got like just sitting at his apartment or house. He's got Mark Fives and JP2Cs and Road Kings and and triple Rex and dual Rex. He's not using any of that. He's
Yeah.
actually using the Fillmore right now, which is
Ah, the
their
Fender, right?
Fender killer. It
Mhm.
is way more headroom. It's 100 watts, bigger speakers. It's basically like if you like the twin reverb sound, this is way better because the headroom is just gigantic, and it's
Oh,
so
wow.
good that Andy Timmons even switched over to it.
Really? He's using that now.
You can watch the video where he's playing through it, and it sounds incredible. Works really, really well with pedals. Also sounds really good by itself. So it's like, well, why don't I just get this then?
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of like what you want the Fenders to be, and but it can also handle distortion too. I mean, it's not a metal amp by any means, but
Yeah, like for something like that, like you really don't need like tons of distortion anyway. You just want like a pedal with like some overdrive and some sustain anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, but he says it's great. So unfortunately, Mesa will not be there. And they
yeah,
don't come to Summer Nam. Most of the big companies, like half of them, aren't there, which is really weird. The weirdest thing there is they Fender takes all their other brands like Gretsch and Jackson and like Eddie Van Halen, and they
mhm.
don't even let them in the main hall. They put them in this like so the left side will be the main hall where all that is, and then as you're walking through this corridor, you look to the right. There's this giant room that just has all the Fender other brands in it, and they're
What?
all like, yeah, they're all combined together. And everyone in there was like, hey, you wanna come in here? It's next to like the NAMM shops where they have like NAMM T-shirts and
Yeah.
coffee and little breakfast bars, and then you have like Eddie Van Halen's brand and like Jackson. They're like, hey, we're open. I'm like last year I was like, is this like actual? Is this an actual booth? And they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, come on in. I was like, shouldn't you be in the main hall? Like, we're over here. And but they got like everything from Eddie. They have everything though. So like all the super high end like rock shred stuff. But I guess at Nashville it's not as well. I don't believe that's true either because I saw Kiesel was selling like crazy. Kiesel the first year sold like nobody's business, and then last year when they had Johnny Highland play their his demo telly, that gone. They just started selling guitars left and right. I think they
Hmm.
only left like 10 guitars out of their 40.
Oh,
It was
really?
yeah, and their bass it sold like crack. And then they
Wow.
have this year they have a new model called the Theos, which is basically their Delos is their Strat modern version of a Strat that you can get with stainless steel frets and roasted level necks and 24, 22 different combinations. The Delos or the Theos is a flat top Strat. So it's basically the entire top is completely flat, and you can use Floyd's with it or like telecom. It's people wanted a flat top Strat, and they didn't offer it, so now they made it, and they're already selling like crazy. I'm like,
That's pretty
it's
cool.
yeah. He's actually having to raise his prices though because Kiesel now is getting a little up there in price, which isn't a bad thing. But he himself it's because of California taxes and wood laws, and
No,
he's taking all that money and reinvesting it back into the company too. So
that's
like he
good.
bought the roasting kilns, and then he bought like another CNC machine, and then he bought. He's constantly up because he has to keep up.
That's
'Cause they
good though.
took-
Yeah. Glad to see
yeah.
he's like investing in his company, not resting on his laurels. So that's good. Oh, I saw like another one earlier today. I don't know what it was. It's called like a Boaz One. It's kind of like this experimental guitar, and basically it's modular and it's made out of like plastic. But I heard it, I was like,
Oh,
sounds decent, but I was like, eh. But one of the things I liked about it is it was easy to change out like the pickups. It was like you could just take the pickups out and just like, shoop, and then take another cartridge, stick it in. I was like, I don't know if I want to
they
use that on stage, but I was like, for like a testing guitar to like test out pickups, that might be interesting.
they have. Let me find the actual. What was that called? There's another company. It was called Solarium. Is it called Solarium guitars or Scenarium? Nope, that's not it. Are they gone? Serenium. Hold on. Sanitarium guitar. It's something with an. Let me look this up. Sanitarium. Let's try this. Scenarium, Solarium. Let's go type in multi. I know what you're talking about. Um,
Yeah, so I thought the
Solar
idea
guitar.
was good because like I liked it, like especially because you could slide it out without actually taking off the strings, so you could just take out the pickups, and it took like I think like 30 seconds to put in different pickups, which I was like, that's cool. But I was like,
Somnium guitars. That's what they're called. Somnium guitars. They're doing the exact same thing. They did this 2 years ago. It's the Somnium actually uses a real wood neck because he was going to have fretboards. That's kind of the real name company. You could slide off between ebony and he goes, how many times are you really going to change your fretboard?
yeah,
Probably, yeah. So he's like done with that. But the body, he had a fiberglass, aluminum shell, and you can pop pickups in and out, change the sides, make a Strat shape, make a Gibson Les Paul, make a flying V, or keep it hollow. And then
yeah,
the thing was, everything had to be active pickups. So he was like, it had to be EMGs because it had to be active because you were popping them out with the quick
Oh.
connect. So I've already seen it and played a different version of that that
Mhm.
wasn't plastic, and it was cool to a point, but I was just like, okay, well, how does this? How did, and he's like, oh yeah, you're right. And then it was like, you just start. What if I don't want those pickups? What if I put different pickups in? You can't. Also, I can't wire up my DiMarzio pickups. No, it's got to be EMGs. And I'm
Yeah.
like, or like active, yeah. So I was like, okay. So then now, because they didn't sound that good, he's putting wood bodies. So you basically have a Strat, and you can pop in and out just the middle section
Hmm.
only. I've seen. I know you're talking about the plastic one. It's the same kind of idea. They seem to bring those back every couple of years. Everyone keeps trying it, but it just doesn't. Like you can take it, like they have a tele here and a neck pickup. You can flip it the other way, put it in backwards, and hear what that sounds like. And you're like, it sounds just as bad as it did the first way because they're tele pickups and they suck. Um, Unfortunately, yeah, I'll see that there too. I'll check it out because I'm sure
Yeah.
it's the same
So,
thing.
like,
Sure.
I thought like the idea was interesting. I was like, I don't know if I could use that as like a stage guitar, but I was like, maybe it'd be. I don't know. It just seems like there's. It seems like there's the idea itself, like changing pickups easily, is good. But I was like, I don't know. It seems like they can't find a good way to do it.
Yeah, it's they keep trying to do different guitars out of different materials and create the same sound as wood. And it's like some companies are having some good success with it, like I think they're Swedish or they're Norwegian. What are they called? Aerostride's guitar. They if you look at their YouTube video how they make their guitars, they're using like an actual chemical process where they are. Should probably check, make sure no one's in the chat. We do. Let's try to respond over and over, nothing until now. Patio Driscoll. All right. Well, I don't know when that was, but
Okay.
yeah, I just saw that. So I just thought I wasn't even looking at the YouTube thing. I was busy working on us. The Aerostrike guitars are like they take a chemical and they make a mold of the entire guitar out of one solid piece of something, and then they just add stuff to it. And they can make any shape and make or color off of it. It never moves once it's like set because it can't move.
Hmm.
But they sound pretty decent. So I'm like, huh. But you got to see the factory. It's like a scientific lab. But yeah, the plastic guitar parts. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Like the only one that took the storm, yes, last year was Ciara guitars. They have a fold-up guitar that actually sounds good and
Oh,
works. It
really?
actually it has a gigantic spring system in the back. So once you get the guitar, once you unclip it from the neck and you fold it in half, it folds in
Hmm.
half. So this is like the guitar will fold. Like the neck will go this way onto the body. You can put it in a little backpack and travel with it. But the second you um, take it out and want to re-click it, you just go push it back in. All the strings go back to tension and they stay in tune pretty much with little
That's
tweaks.
amazing. That's good.
Yeah, but you do have to get it set up though. So like when you get the actual guitar, good luck on that. Once you get the guitar set up right, it's fine. But because the strings will always we're going back there. But and then they were nice guys. They're like, hey, play up here, go create. I was like shredding with them, but there's a giant piece of metal right where the 12th fret is. That's the hinge. Yeah, it
Hmm.
doesn't feel good at all. And I was talking to the guy because he's always trying to get this company up and running. They're very nice people, and they're obviously a niche market for travel people, but it will work. And I said to him, hey, where are the fret markers on the side of the neck? He goes, "Oh, we didn't add those yet." And I go, "That's basic 101 guitar. I want a dot in
Yeah.
the third, fifth, seventh, ninth, 12th fret. Come on." And he
Yeah.
looked at me like, "I did, yeah." I was like, probably shouldn't be saying that live on the internet because I am going to see them in 2 days. So
Okay. Well, hopefully they
no,
have it fixed by now. It's been a year, so.
yeah, it was, but shockingly, they actually played and sound pretty decent. I was that I didn't expect that. They sent me to the VIP party. We're down there, and this guy was like trying to jam with me. I was like, "You need to tune your guitar." I was like, "Yeah, you need to tune your guitar." I'm like, "No, you're like a quarter step flat. It sounds horrible. Stop using tune." He thought I was kidding. I'm like, "No. Take the guitar." And then
Yeah.
instead of tuning the guitar, he went and drank more whiskey. And I'm like, that's
That
not
might
going to fix the. No, no.
help.
But yeah, the plastic guitar I saw you talking about. I mean, I just think it's plastic is a very cheap, crappy material. It's not going to sound good. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know. Like, I don't know what they can do about that. Like, maybe there's something they can do. Maybe it'd be better if they just made a guitar and like they had like a piece hollowed out where the pickups are, and you could just take that out and then have like multiples of on them and insert your own pickups in there and just slide them in and out. That might be cool for like a studio guitar if you had like something's wood and you could choose like, okay, here's one's like a Les Paul shape, Strat shape, etc. And then you could just slide in your own pickups in and out. And like, okay, I have like some slots where I have like this one's three single coils. This is two humbuckers. This is like some different humbuckers, and I could just play the rhythm part with the strat parts, slide it out, slide in humbuckers, play the lead part with that. Maybe that would be cool, but I don't know how you do it. Probably
Yeah, but also the problem is the big thing I think of is the pontimeters. 500K has to be for humbuckers, and single coil sound best 250. Now you can get a dual one, but they still don't sound as authentic as the other ones. And
yeah,
plus, there's like split coil and in and out of phase, and all. At this point, it gets like, you know what? Just get another guitar. And then
yeah,
just walk in the studio, three guitar, and then I also think for me, I think it's a cool idea. I'm like, how many? If I'll just get a different guitar sound. Like you only need like really three sounds. Okay, so I got my humbuckers, I got my Strat single coils, and then what else do you need? Like maybe a split coil, maybe like
yeah.
the Ellie sound. That's it. Like what else do you really need? Like I can't like get down to playing at that point. Just start playing.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm kind of interested to see what else is going to come out at NAMM. Like those are pretty much the only things I've seen. I haven't seen too much else. Uh, Another thing I heard about is not it's I guess somewhat related to music and guitar, but you know the Raspberry Pi computers.
Yeah.
Those apparently can do zero like near zero latency audio now. So you could
Oh,
technically play like a guitar or like you can play like synthesizers on them now, etc. And they're fairly cheap. I think they're only like $55. So people are saying like in the future somebody might come out with like some amp modeling software or like some other digital signal processing software. You could buy one of those and hook your guitar up to that and just bring that as like a guitar solution. And they're fairly small too. They're like just a little bit bigger than like a normal size pedal.
that's interesting. Because I know they have lots of plugins, high end plugins right now, and they usually require a decent bit of CPU power
Yeah.
with RAM. I mean, that'd be cool, but I don't know. I also still like when I have wah pedals, and I guess I'm old school now. Like I've noticed that even though like I've heard a whole bunch of bands only using XFXs or AX8s and or Kemper this, when you hear an actual real guitar amp smacking you in the face at a show, it's you can't get that from the digital. Like it's missing. It does not fill the room the same no matter what you do. I have not used the XFX3 though. The XFX2, while I love it, is nowhere near as it doesn't smack you like a Mesa does or a Marshall or
Mm.
it's still, but the convenience of this is ridiculous. Like
Yeah, it's like I like if I could, I'd play like a real amp all the time. But like to be honest, like I just can't. Especially like living in Japan, like there's pretty much no place that'll let you open up an amp anywhere, like not even halfway. So it's like, and also getting it there to like a venue is just like a huge pain. But I heard like
yeah,
the same thing in like lots of places in America too. They won't let you open up amps in like clubs or anything like that anymore. Anyway, so
not like they used to. No, it's unless you're at a certain rock club. But most of the time, the sound guys like, let's keep it quiet, let the PA boost your sounds. It was comfortable for people in the front of the stage. I'm like, who cares? I want this tone of I'm gonna knock your head off.
yeah,
Like if I'm playing a Mesa 412 cabinet, I'm turning the thing up.
yeah,
They're like, well, yeah, but I'm like, no, it's shh. Can't hear the vocals. It's okay. He's not that good of a singer. So match the bass with me and have the bass drum hit just as hard with the bass and cool. Can't hear the singer. It's fine.
yeah,
You'll hear him in the parts when we're not playing. That's what you want to do. That's new kind of music. That way he can say whatever and you're like yeah, the weird thing now is I heard actually because I was talking to Matty, Dream Theater's guitar tech, and he was saying the market has changed so much. People don't just want to see a show; they want to be entertained. So they don't just go to listen to music anymore. They expect to have a light show and pyro and explosions and smoke and lasers and CGI effects. If they don't have that, they instantly think your show sucks. And it's like yeah. And I was like, they do have the highest production they've ever had in a long time on this recent tour, which they seem to be having a blast. And they played in Sicily on the side of some mountain that was like an old amphitheater from like the BC era. And they had like, yeah, you have to find the Instagram videos. It looks like, and it was like him and Andy McKee and Jason Richardson. And they're just going crazy up there. And I'm like, that sounds awesome.
yeah,
Way better than playing Cincinnati, Ohio, and while
yeah.
some farmer taking a pee in the alley. Like, hey, want to give me $1? No, we don't want to. No. Um, but even they like Petrucci's still using the XFX2 because he said he likes the three, but they can't make enough of them, and it's also convenience of you can make sure it runs. Like, does everything work? Cool. Like, but I know a lot of people have switched over to those completely now. The three now is starting to take massive jumps above the X2 Plus,
Oh,
which is what
really?
I haven't even tapped out my XL Plus. It still sounds great, but the three is just it's taken off now. It's going. So they did a very smooth transition. They were very cool to the XFX2 owners. They upgraded the Aries software, so it's like, oh, cool, we're kind of on the same level. Like, kinda. And then it's just doing this. It's like, oh, hey, mine's not so good. No, oh god. So, but they pretty much all but abandoned it because they want to go to the new ones,
I
the
guess
new
they have
interface.
to, eventually, things move on. So I guess
Yeah,
that's good. I'm surprised. What is going on with Kemper? I thought by now they would come out with like a Kemper Profiler 2, but it's like that came out like 2012, right?
I think so. A lot of studio people seem to like Kempers, and I don't understand why over the Axe effects. They said because they can basically mic up an amp they have, source the sound, and then that's it. That's the amp sound. And
I
like you
guess.
can do it in the Axe too, but they said yeah, you got to take the Axe and you have to match up the actual real amp to it. Then you have to tone match it, and then you have to tweak it a little bit. And I go, yeah, you have more control. I like the more control, but I guess some people are just the Kemper does has the worst effects. It does not sound anywhere close to the actual Axe.
Yeah,
They were there last year too. They were very nice. I played through a couple and it was like, it's kind of like it's an alternative. Not my cup of tea.
yeah, I like them. I think they sound good. Personally, I prefer more control, but I don't understand why they wouldn't upgrade it because like I think one of the problems with like the number of effects is like okay, maybe they don't have enough power, but it's like the processors you originally started with in 2012, I'm sure are cheaper now, or they have an alternative that's probably cheaper or more powerful. Why not just make a new one and add other things? To be honest, they could probably take the software and make like their own like original amps that work like the axe effects, and then keep the Kemper stuff also on the side and mix them together, or play like two amp profiles together at the same time, or who knows what else. I don't know why they're kind of like sitting on their hands.
I agree completely. I have no idea. I've also seen like I mean they were really nice last year, but I was just like, here's what the biggest thing with me with the Fractal. That's why I only want to use Fractal. When I saw that John Petrucci thing last year, and we had that thunderstorm, and the power went out. So we had Dave LaRue was using Ampeg bass amps. John Finn's using an Axe FX 2. Rusty Cooley Axe FX 2. Jason Richardson Axe FX 3. Because it was just there. Somebody was using an Axe FX AX8. I think Tosin Abasi. No, he was doing an Axe FX 2 as well. Um, Tony McAlpine was using an AX8, and Petrucci was using his rig with two Axe FX 2s in there. Kemper was being used by Andy James. So when all that power went down and it finally came back up, everything fired back up at the Kemper. Like all the fractals were like, we're good to go. And the Kemper's like, mm-mm. So all the techs start running over, they're changing, they're flipping. It would not respond. It
Yeah,
said no, thank you. So they actually took JP's backup rig, which was big, another stereo Mesa Boogie JP2Cs, and Andy's like, "All right, I'll try through these." He's like, "Yeah, this is gonna be loud." I was like, "Sweet, mate." And he plugs in these. So he was playing the Bertucci's actual backup rig. He's like,
that's
"Yeah,"
yeah,
and the guy from Fractal, Matt Bacone, is super nice. But he just goes. He came out the next day, he's giving a presentation talking about the new XFX3 and the different features, and he's talking about how they can do things, and you can try them out later. Which I played it, and I loved it. And he goes, did you notice that the only system that he goes, all the fractals turned on yesterday? Like like just kind of doing this. And then he
yeah.
goes, he says this line, I'll never forget. He goes, we've got a lot of competition here from Fractal. We know our competitors are here because Line 6 and Kemper. And he goes, just kidding. We don't have any competition.
Oh,
And I was like,
jeez.
ooh, and it's true. The Helix sucks compared to the Fractal. It's everyone keeps saying, no, it's good. No, it's good for Line 6. It's not good. The interface is nice, but it's still. I mean, do you want this? Okay, so the DL4 is this classic delay sound from the early 2000s. If you want that, you can get it. I don't want that line six. Their effects are decent, but I don't want their effects. I got way but because it's the line six effects versus in the Fractal and the Kemper, especially in the Fractal, they're just taking pedals you want and putting them in there, and you can still use real pedals with it, which it responds to fantastically.
Yeah,
And I can take any of the inputs and outputs and change them to whatever I want. I can actually make the input like I can make an output that's not for an output, make it into a different input, and run an XFX loop through there and put it where I want it. It's like that for me. The versatility of that is stupid. It's just like, and it's so easy to do. Like I can take real pedals and swap them in and out in different positions, and I'm like, this is crazy. I use it way, but also the problem I've noticed with digital amps is I spend too much time tweaking and playing with stuff
yeah.
versus actually getting anything done. Like John Finn said, he spent 4.5 hours working on sounds, and he goes, I didn't do anything. I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you do that. You're like just turning knobs, like a little bit more like this, a little more like this, and then after like 15 minutes, you're like, did that even matter really? Can anybody
No,
hear that?
no. Once you got the drums and the bass and the all the no, it's
Yeah, it's like there's
completely
no point in
yeah.
that.
But
I
I
mean,
will definitely let you know about the crazy pedals and stuff I see at NAMM. Hopefully, with some unique stuff. I might make a video. I said like to see and find anything spectacular because they do usually have a few things that take me by surprise there. One guy though had I'll tell you about this real quick. He had a pedal board they said was powered by magnets from the Earth, and we are like, wait, what? And he goes, yeah, you use magnetism and the Earth's gravitational field can power the pedal board. We're like, well, how do pedals get powered? Do you have like a certain attach? No, you still have to have a 9-volt attachment to the board because that'll get powered. That'll go, okay. I'm like, so it's just running off Earth's gravitational pull, and that's how you're getting like
what?
theoretically, yeah, right? We're all like, whoa, no, actually, what you got to do is you got to charge this battery up. That
Like,
and they put it underneath the pedal board. I'm like,
that doesn't really even make any sense. Like, how can it run off the Earth's magnetic?
at first, I was like blown away, like, no way, this is awesome. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is just like a power pack on the side of a pedal board. Yeah,
Yeah.
it runs off magnets. Oh, so it's yeah,
Wait,
but he was saying like you leave it out in the sun for like 12 hours, and let it charge up through solar power. You're like 12 hours, like I gotta play, man.
yeah,
Can you imagine,
exactly. So,
what are you doing, Chandler? I'm plugging in my amp.
yeah,
Got a gig tonight. Gotta get an extra hot.
some more time. I'll be ready for the solo. Just keep playing. Keep that
It's
groove going.
environmentally friendly. Oh, is it? It's like holding up his iPhone and his eye. These are horrible for the environment.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the other pedal you were talking about? I can't remember.
I think that's all of them. Yeah, I don't think there was
Okay.
anything else. I want to say, oh, there's the other one, the Boss like Looper, but that to me like wasn't that interesting. It was like they kind of like improved the Boss Looper, and they have like 2 buttons on there. So I was like, that's kind of cool, but not a huge improvement.
That'll be there. I'll check it out. I'm sure it's gonna
Yeah.
be neat. But honestly, like the Ditto Looper from TC Electronics still works fantastic. That's the one that everyone loves to use because we only need a button. Like
Yeah.
unless you need more complex, like how many times you need to loop yourself? Like if you're looping yourself like 12 times and adding verses and choruses and changing things, it's like just get a band.
Yeah.
Just get I mean, I don't want to. As my friend said to me once, it's kind of neat the first time, but then when I have to watch them set up the song for 4.5 minutes and they haven't even started, I'm like,
Yeah,
can we
exactly. Yeah, like get going, get going. So
yeah,
I
no,
think it's cool for like one song, but then like after that, it's like, yeah, I just want to hear some like normal music.
yeah, it's I don't know. It seems like a neat device. They're always making different loopers. Most pedals come with a loop functionality of some kind, but the TC Electronics Ditto one still, from what I've used, I'm not a big looper fan. That one's still great for me, just because you just on, off. I'm good.
Yeah,
Well, time, you sound great.
yeah. I just hope somebody else comes out with something interesting and new this NAMM. I I'm tired of tube screamers. Please stop with the tube screamers. I don't know why every company thinks they need to make another tube screamer. Like I like tube screamers, but it's enough. Calm down with the tube screamers. Not every company needs to make one.
Yeah. I think it's like you have to start with that because it's the most basic schematic to learn how
Yeah.
to wire a pedal, and then once you got it, they base everything off that. So I mean, I don't know what they'll come up with recently new, but I mean, I know what you mean about Tube Screamer Overkill. I think the only one that's been like revolutionary, well, different is the Precision Drive. That one from what's that company called? Mr. Mansour's company. That one is let me see what it's called. So I'm throwing a blank on this. Misha Mansour's. I thought it was Precision Drive.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's
It
like
might be
a couple of that I like. I really like.
Horizon Devices. That's what it's called. Horizon Devices Precision Drive.
It's just like an
That
overdrive.
No, it's a tube screamer basically, boost pedal with a built-in noise gate. It is designed specifically for metal players and metal amps.
That's actually a good
So
idea. Put
that's
that
the
in.
whole point of it. It's like $250, but basically, I sent you a YouTube, Facebook link. It is, it's got a built-in noise gate that is really, really strong, and
Like for like gent where you like needs to cut down super fast, right?
yeah. So it does tighten up your bottom end quite a bit, and then some people love it simply, hey, because however much you turn that will change everything. Like if you crank it all the way up, it's almost unplayable. You're like, but some of those guys like that. But it works really good with high gain metal amps. Like if you got like a rectifier and you want to tighten up the bottom end, it will like it's not like Mark V tight, but at the same time, I'm like, we'll just get a Mark V or a JP2C. They're like, yeah, but I got this big, crazy, distorted thud machine. I'm like, yeah, but you're not even using it for that. What's the point?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's different. It's not bad. I've heard people play, but that one went crazy. Everyone started buying that like crazy because it was something designed specifically for certain. Like no one had made that product for it yet, and now they have a preamp version, which I'm not really sure what that does, but supposedly it's like a little warmer for soloing as well as the boost, and you can have a little more functionality out of it. But it's also they're a smaller company. Misha Mansour is like killing it with all kinds of other stuff besides his actual band.
Yeah.
Like he said, I don't make any money in the band, so
Yeah. We can make other. Yeah. If he's getting money that way, good for him. So I'm glad he's doing that. So that's good. So
yeah.
I don't know. I just want to see some new stuff. I'm surprised nobody has come out with more like multi tap delays. I love those. I remember when Yamaha came out with the one for Alan Holdsworth. What was it, like the UD Stomp? That sounded amazing. And there's barely anything else that can do that sound.
Yeah, there was a pedal company last year from Germany. They're still brand new. They had a distortion pedal that used plasma to actually
I
make.
saw that, but it sounded terrible.
It does sound terrible. It sounds absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
But he
I thought
said
it was a great idea, but then when I heard it, I was like, "Well, oh
he,
no."
no, he said he was selling it as a niche sound, like a unique sound for single coil players who want something different from a fuzz pedal. And he goes, and it looks cool. And I go, okay, I can see that. Maybe there's an indie market for it. It sounds horrible. And then he has a basically another pedal that, in theory, it sounded good, but it doesn't work either. It's the same kind of pedal you use on a piano, like a damper pedal, like the
Hmm.
same look of it. But when
Yeah.
you play a chord, you hold this down, it just takes the chord sound and it lets it infinitely sustain. And then you can play on top of it, and you won't interfere with that. But it doesn't sound that good either. So
Uh,
I was kind of like, well, these are neat, but maybe get the sounds up. I'll look for some multi-tap delays because there's always a few companies down there that try and make something. Like there's a company last year that had a palette that said 1984, and he was like,
oh,
"I'm like, what's this supposed to sound like?" He's like, "Well, you switch to the left, you got like the classic ADA 80s overcompressed guitar tone with some chorus, and you switch to
hmm.
the right, you got a really bad synth." And I was thinking, and he said it just like that, and I was like, "Breed. Oh, yep, that's a really bad synth." He goes,
Yeah,
"Told
there
you."
you
I
go.
was like, he goes, you put it in the middle, you get half and half with stereo output. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, it's,
They had
something for everybody.
they had an anti-effect pedal there. It's a pedal that you think what's anti-effect? That's what he described it as. You take this pedal, you put it in your bass player's chain or somebody you don't like, or hide it behind their speaker, and you turn it on, and it sounds like the cable's breaking. And you can change the rate of how much. Yeah, it's $80, and it goes and it cuts the signal in and out. And he's like, yeah, 9-volt battery, just all it does. It's called the anti-effect. And I'm like, what? Okay. And
Oh, why would you make that?
but it sold. People are like, that's pretty funny. I'm gonna buy one and make my bass player stroke out. I'm like, why would you do that? It's just I guess to give the finger to your friend. I don't know.
I guess
They
so.
had
Yeah.
another one where they had that was kind of like that. They had one that I thought I wish that would have been cooler. It wasn't. It's not in production yet. It has it. Remember the old cassette tapes from the 80s and 90s,
Yeah.
like the cassettes, the actual cassette tapes.
Yeah.
So I think the warble in there, if the tape got bad, it made a little warble
Yeah.
sound. It was a
You can do that.
warble.
Like, that's a pedal that does that.
It was a simulator. It's not to market yet. So you play it,
Oh,
and it would sound. It made the tape warble sound, and you could turn up how much you want it to be, or how old was the tape. And I'm like, this is kind of a neat effect, but they wanted
yeah.
$200 for it. I said, this is $50 effect. This is not
Yeah.
two
That's
hundred
like,
dollar
like I
boutique.
could only use like once per like set or something like that. If I was playing like some old like 1950s song or something, I'd use that. But like,
Yeah, that's the sad thing. I was like, oh guys, you're way too high in the market. Like, you gotta drop the price down. Um,
oh, there's another one I wanted to talk about. Do you know Rocktron is back?
no, no, I did not.
Rocktron, I saw like I think it was on the Gear page, and they made a new Rocktron rack unit, but it looks exactly like their old rack units, where it has
Oh
like
no.
green like LEDs and things on it. But it's
Oh
really expensive. I think it's like $1,000 or $2,000.
wow. Okay. I'm actually looking at it right now. Yeah, they still got a whole bunch. The Hush Ultra. What is that?
I think that's like a noise gate.
Oh, Noise Gate. Yeah, that's the rack one. So let's see. Maybe it's not out yet. Maybe they're gonna show it there. That
Yes.
They have I can't believe they have a bunch of preamps. It seems Plexi, Widowmaker, Voodoo Valve. There it is, Voodoo Valve LTD. It's a re-release of their legendary one. That's what it is.
Yeah, and it's expensive, and I was like, what are they thinking?
I don't. Maybe somebody. I don't know. $750. Holy crap!
I was like, for
I
that
just
price,
remember them being like a bad pod ripoff, but I guess certain people
that
like
price
certain
you can
sounds.
buy one of those Helix stomps, right? And you can also buy like a AX8s around that price too, right?
Yes, actually, you can get the new uh the AX8s, I think, are 1200, but the new fractal unit, they're not making AX8s anymore. They're making FM3s, as they call them.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it is 800 to
Well, did you freeze up?
buttons, and it can just. What'd you say?
Oh,
You there?
you froze up for a second.
Oh,
You're like,
okay.
I was like, what?
So the FM3 is the same engine as the Axifex 3, just in a 3-button pedal to destroy the new Helix Light that Line 6 put out. And then you can also add their 6-button controller alongside of it, and you have your massive, crazy, insane AX8 successor with Axifex 3 sounds.
Or you could buy one of those new Rocktrons and pretend like it's 1985 again.
Yeah, I mean, why are we buying high quality Rocktron, man? Jeez. Ugh. Sometimes, well, he's got someone in the company's like, we have the brand, let's do it. That's why not. I mean, you should watch the Dean Guitars video tour of the factory. They have like
Uh-huh.
this one guy there who kills me. He's like, yeah, everything's done with machines basically, and we give it over to Earl, and Earl fixes all the problems. He's like, hi, I'm Earl. He's just like over there working on stuff. He's like, this was good. I just gotta fix it. He's like, the net is right. I'm like, okay. So basically, they do enough of machines, and they have a guy do the handwork. But he's like, yeah, there's only like 4 of us here running this. And I'm like, hi. Versus like Ernie Ball, whose prices are going up and up and up and up and up as well. And most of the California guitar companies have to pay a lot more, sadly, because of all the new taxes. And
Yeah. If I was those people, I'd look to see if I could move my company someplace else.
they're
I
trying to
mean,
move the giant.
if they've lived there their whole life or something, or they really like it, people don't want to move. But to be honest, like if those taxes are going up, I want.
It's getting outrageous. Like the Bertucci guitars are getting really, really expensive. Even the same models, like the original Majesty launched at 3,000, it's now like 3,300, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 string is 35. The newest models are 37 to 5,500. And they just keep
Yeah,
going up and up. Yeah, it's like, ooh, God, guys, these are getting.
yeah. Bring the prices down if they
But
can. So
well, also at the same time, they can't keep up with production. People are
no,
buying them so quickly.
yeah.
So
What do
it's
I
like
know? People are paying for it. Yeah, who cares? What do I know?
I hate to say it too, but like when you get them, they are like Ferraris. They're high end, cruising. It's quickly like one of my favorite guitars I own, but I don't want to take it out because people look at it like, "Ooh, what's this?" Like, get away, get like. Anyway,
Oh, one cool instrument that if I ever get lots of money, I saw a company they make like a violin viola combo. So it looks like a guitar basically, but it has like a chambered body and like the fretboard is curved. So the strings are curved around so you can use a bow and you can play it like a violin or a viola.
huh? Because
But usually like you hold it up like this so it's almost like a cello, but it sounds more like of course like a string sound like a cello or something or a viola I guess. And I was like, oh,
interesting.
it's really cool because like instead of playing violin you can play those parts on your guitar and like all the fingerings are the same etc. So you don't have to like relearn anything. It's like okay, I can use all my same fingerings, the spacing is the same as a guitar, it has frets on it etc. But you can just play like viola parts or violin parts etc. So I was like, I'd really like one of those, but I saw the price and I was like, $4,000 and probably having it shipped to Japan is probably another like $1,000. So I was like, yeah, I don't think I'll be buying one of those anytime soon.
Wow. Yeah, they do have at NAMM a bunch of guys that play 6 string electric violin,
Oh,
and it's like a flying V shape, and then it might be the same thing, but they actually play it like a violin.
yeah, yeah,
It's got a curved fretboard with different fret markings on it, where their position shifts are. Those guys walk from pedal booth to amp company, and they all buy all kinds of crazy stuff. People go nuts, going, "Oh, play over here," because they're so unique and they sound pretty awesome. They play through most stuff, most stuff.
yeah. That's cool. So I hope they have some new stuff. I hope there's some new guitar synth stuff, like where it can like convert it to MIDI. But I don't know if there's any companies really working on that so much anymore. So it seems like it's kind of like died out. But I love that kind of stuff.
There, we'll see. I mean, there's usually a couple surprises here and there. They do seem to be a bit more open booths this year than they have last year. So I don't know if the prices went up or just people don't feel like coming this time. We'll see. They also have like, I mean, last year there was a guy who had, you know what a B bender is? Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, is that the thing you put on like the back of your guitar that that's is that the one that drops the tone?
No, no. So the B bender is a giant device you put inside your entire telly. So it goes where your strap is. You have to carve out the entire back of the telly, and what it does is it goes to the B string. So when you lower your strap, this
Hmm.
mechanism pulls the B string up a half step, puts it back down a half step, or a whole step. So, and then they have it's called also a hip belt bender, same thing, but you attach it to your belt. So your B string would actually go through your guitar and hit and go to a device in your belt, and you push it this way, and it goes boing like that. This guy was like, we have to modify your guitars, you have to do all this, makes it heavy. There's all these different kind of mechanisms in there, only used for country music. He made a B bender you can put on top of the actual um, you have to modify your saddles, of course, but you put it
Hmm.
on certain strings, and you press this little device down, and it will bend up and down whole steps. So he put one on the B string and the G string, and he was like, "Yeah, check this out." And he was like playing all these different country licks and just moving things around and cheating. I can change all the tunings. I'm like, "Oh!" And I was like, "How much are those?" Like, they're about $100 each. I'm like, "You have a $600 bridge?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Or I can build you a guitar, but that's $4,000." I'm like, "Nope, no thing." He can play the living crap out of it too. It's a really neat idea, but nobody is gonna mass produce
Yeah,
that
that's
and
like
make it.
one of the cool things was like I don't know if I'd ever use that. I mean, can't you just use a tremolo bar and do
You
this?
could. Yeah, it's just different styles, and like they had Framus was there last year, and I was checking them out, and I was like, "Where's all your like high end guitars?" Like we didn't bring a whole lot. I'm like, and I was like, "Do you have the Devin Townsend model?" No. He's like, "You're only endorsee." Okay. Do you have like any basses? No. What do you have? They're like, "We have our cars and our catalog." I'm like,
What?
"Great." Yeah, PV though, shockingly, I can't believe this. PV showed up last year, and they had probably 25 that they've brought out of their vault. Eddie Van Halen guitars,
That's
like
cool.
high end Wolfgangs that were all mint condition, not normal black Wolfgangs from the 90s. These were like uh, flame maple top with a nice honey burst or ruby red. I'm like, holy crap! And they were all starting at 5 grand each. They sold out of every single one.
That's
Like
nice.
people, but also when you see that, they're like, oh, look at that guitar. It's like sold. You're like, what? I can't even play it. Nope, sold. What's the purpose of this? And they will have a boutique guitar section where the builders every year have a big competition. They'll try to make the most elaborate, crazy, unique guitar they can. Um,
Yeah, I saw one like the advertising for this name. Apparently, Martin, the acoustic company, made a Brexit guitar, and I was like, "What?" And like half of it is painted like the EU flag, and the other half, I don't know, I think it's like the British flag. It has like George Washington on it wearing headphones. I was like, "What
uh,
is this?"
Martin has a very small booth. It's probably 10 feet wide, 20 feet long, and it's
Mhm.
out in the open. And it's very loud. So it's like, and you walk in, there's the Martin booth, and you're like, well, okay. Though Tommy Emmanuel was there tearing it up last year, just chilling out. The Taylor booth is like a secluded room, very nice.
Yeah.
Um, I don't, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Martin guitars. Never have been. I mean,
Mm.
they have a classic sound, but it's like, why are you making that? Like, who's that for? But then again, they have like there'll be more ukuleles there than anything else you ever see in your life. They have
Really?
so many. Yeah, they'll be. It's because it's all. Remember, they don't just sell high end stuff. They have vendors and music stores go in there to look for low end stuff and mid level stuff. So entry level stuff. They have like Hal Leonard will be there selling every book they have in their entire catalog. Casio's there selling different levels of keyboards, from stage pianos to practice ones for different solutions to uh, music stores or music schools that can't afford a full grand. So they'll get like a really nice player piano with
I've
weighted
recently
keys.
like the pianos with the weighted keys have gotten much better.
Yeah,
So I was
much
thinking
better.
like, for my son, I was like, if he wants to do piano, I was like, I can probably afford to buy like one of those small pianos with like the weighted keys and digitally, and like I have enough room to put it in my house. So I was like, it's actually useful, much better
Yeah,
than
so
digital.
when you're gigging in Japan, do you have to take like do you have a car or do you take like the train system to get
I
around?
take the train, so it's like
I was like,
terrible.
yeah, I was thinking, Like, man, how do you move your amp and stuff with you?
I don't take like any amps, so that's why I'm going like all like digital. Before I was using one of those Zoom G3s, and now I'm using like a Moore like small pedal board. I was like before I was like taking like actual like a pedal board with me, and then I'd use sometimes like the amp there if they had one. But I was like, I don't want to do that because sometimes they have like some good amps. Like I went there one time, they had like a Mesa Boogie like 50 caliber 1 gig, and I was like, wow, this sounds awesome. But then other times I'd go there and they'd have like some box modeling amp. I remember that one sounded really bad. Other times like they just it just be random, and like lots of times it wouldn't be good. Like if I was lucky, I would get like a maybe a Marshall like 2000 JNC 2000, which I don't like at all, but that was good. A few times I've gotten like the Mesa Boogie 50 caliber or like Fender Twin, but other times often get like a Roland Jazz Chorus, which is cool, but not for any type of rock music.
No, no, that's a straight
Yeah,
solid state clean amp.
yeah. So if I was just doing like funk or pop, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like it's nice, clean sound. I like Roland Jazz Chorus, but I was like, not for rock. But
You
that's like
think
what
they have, you think they have the Boss Katana everywhere? I mean,
I don't
it-
know. So far, like hasn't caught on. Like they do sometimes. I get before I'd get like a blues cube or something, but I didn't see a katana. But then again, like I didn't gig much last year, so maybe they just hadn't gotten it yet. So maybe they've changed it.
hmm.
You know,
I mean, it's like it's $500 over here, so I don't know if it'd be cheaper or relatively the same over there.
yeah, probably around the same. Actually, probably a little bit cheaper when you consider like the exchange rate. So
Yeah, it's like about
hopefully,
500,000 yen, right?
yeah, yeah, like it's like yeah, would be like 50,000 yen or so, which is a little bit cheaper than $500. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
$50 or so. So I don't know. I haven't looked at the prices, but I imagine that's what it is. But some places are just like slow with changing things. So like if they have an amp there, they don't want to change it until the amp breaks or something. So it's like,
Just pour a little water on it, little beard. Oh no,
oh no, it's not working. Better buy a new katana.
that'll that'll go really well over there. You see a samurai sword coming out like, guy, just run, Chandler. It's
Well,
horrible.
like I went to a gig one time and somebody gave me a Fender Twin. Did I tell you about that?
No, that's just gave you one.
Yeah, so I have one right next to me actually right now that I've never used. It's a Fender Twin Reverb. It's one of the silver faces, which I wish it was a black face, but I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't have to pay anything for it, so I was like, I'll take a 1970s silver face twin.
Yeah. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
I'm sure it needs to be retubed and like two or three of the knobs are broken, so I need to have new knobs put on there. But I was like, yeah, I'll definitely take that because even if I'm not going to use it anytime soon, I think I got it like 4 years ago and I never used it. But I was like, I definitely will use it sometime in the future. I'll have to
That
get
must
it.
have been heavy to carry back.
Yeah, it was huge pain. Like my friend, they had two of them, so they gave one to me and one to my friend, and we each got one. And he drove me like close to my house, but not exactly there. And then I had to push it probably like a tenth of a mile to my house, and it was terrible. And I had to take it upstairs. It's ridiculously heavy, and that's like one of the reasons I haven't gotten it fixed because I was like, I just don't. It's just too heavy to move.
I remember when I bought in Boston when I went to Guitar Center, I bought that Mesa 412 cabinet. And I go, how
Uh-huh.
you getting it back to your house? Like, I'm just gonna wheel it around 2 miles. I'm just pushing this thing through the city. And then if my senior recital, Justin, our friend, let us. He lose his car, loaded everything over the recital hall, and then like it was like 4 or 5 guitars, massive amps, everything. And on the way back, I don't forget that trail of all of you carrying all my gear,
Yeah,
like $15,000 worth of gear. We're just pushing it down there.
yeah,
Thanks, everybody. Let me throw this in here. That was the weirdest thing ever to look back and see everyone
yeah,
carrying guitars and stuff. And I'm like, if any of you run away right now, I can't really stop you.
yeah.
I don't miss those days. Not moving the gear around, not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right. So I'll definitely check out the pedals and stuff and get back to you on what's with that.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll do another talk about that when I saw, and then maybe we'll have a video or something or picture or something that really stood out as something unique. Because I mean, there'll be a bunch of pedal companies, a lot.
yeah, we can talk about this like next month. We'll do another live stream after it's over. I think the NAMM show's later this week, right? Like on Friday?
It's Thursday through Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm getting down there Wednesday because if you don't like get to parking by 9 o'clock roughly, you have to park outside of the venue, and the parking is like $35-$40 for the day
Oh,
because the
geez.
way it's all Nashville sold all of its public parking, to private people, and
Okay.
they don't care. They raise the rates to anything they want, and they'll just screw you. And it's ridiculous. So if you park there, it's $15 for the day. Come in and out as much as you want. And it's like, oh well, I'll do that then. But they fill up real quick because all the vendors get there, and
Yeah.
it ends at like 5 or 6, and then afterwards they have the after parties where you go. They all rent venues and stuff, or they'll have an event somewhere, and they ask you to come see it and check it out. And there's always a catered food, which is super nice. You can network with people and just be like, hey, so I want to like demo products for you, and they'll okay, and they'll send you something, and then they'll like you just make a video to their standards, and then they send it back to them, and they'll put it on their social media and link you, and it's like a and that's how a lot of people just get that. Like when they do with any, like some of the companies you have to contact first, like Ernie Ball, you have to talk to their AR department and say, hey, but they also want a certain level. You can't just be like, I'm
No.
just starting out. Send me
Yeah.
a top line man. No, it's like you have like minimum 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
The more you have, the better.
Yeah.
And then they will send you the guitars, but it's like they know who you are, and you do have to send them back unless you want to purchase them, which they can let you purchase it at a significant discount. But
Okay.
still, yeah, they want. They also want like reviews, like, and they're really looking for video quality and audio quality as well. So, and you got to go down the whole spec sheet too. Mahogany neck and all the stuff about it, which is I mean, it's fun. But that's why some of those YouTube reviewers do it too, because they've realized. I think a lot of companies, people don't really care for commercials anymore. But when you
Yeah.
actually hear the guy you don't know, just some random guy playing it, checking it out in a song, you go, oh, that's how it really sounds. And then once and it sells a whole lot more too
Yeah.
that way.
Imagine lots of people go on YouTube for reviews and things like that. So
I do. I look at all kinds of people playing pedals, and that's why I was really into the Majesty because I heard all these people sounding good on it, and this one guy like sounded horrible with everything else. He goes, "Check out this guitar." I'm like, "Well, you sound good with that." Except there's one Reverb.com review where they reviewed the Majesty, and this guy made it sound horrible. He played it through a orange practice amp with like an 8-inch speaker, and I made one comment. I was like, "How did you guys mess this up so bad?" And I was like, "I made this sound good with my iPhone in the Guitar Center store on a Saturday when it was loud." And I
yeah.
linked my link, and I got the whole link is positive reviews, and then I got one thumbs down
Probably that
from
guy.
Reed. Yep, it is. From Reverb. He's like, "Screw you, buddy." But all right, so I think it's a good place to cut it off there.
Yeah, we'll stop here, and then maybe sometime early next month or the middle of next month, we'll do another one. We can talk about what actually happened to NAMM, etc. Did Gibson actually fail, or did they somehow pull something amazing off? We'll see. Tune in next time.
All right,
But
take
anyway,
care.
yeah, thanks for coming, Daniel. Anybody out there, if you have any questions, leave them below. I'll try to answer them later. And thanks for watching, and see you.
See ya.